Hey, it's your girl Cedes, host of the Black Millennial Mom podcast, and I'm so glad you're here. If you're a millennial mother or a father, this podcast is for you. We talk about the real struggle the parenting journey comes with, and these conversations tend to get a tad bit spicy. So this is a space where parents can be themselves and may use some colorful language, if you know what I mean, from time to time. So if your little ones are around, this might be the perfect moment to slip on those headphones and take a break for a second. Other than that, sit back, relax, and enjoy the conversation. Welcome to the Black Millennial Mom podcast. You know, this season I've had a little bit of everything for the Black Millennial Mom podcast, from millennial fathers to mothers of the LGBTQ committee, also to hard-working mothers as well, doing it with their husbands and family-oriented stuff. But this episode is definitely a really touching moment for me because it's different than what you guys have seen. So it was really important to call in two folks that I know are dealing with this every single day. And it is the single mothers edition of the Black Millennial Mom podcast. Welcome, my friends. Shout out to my girl, Katelyn. What up, Rebekah? These are mothers who have been doing it, okay? This is not an easy job. But I felt like it was important to share light of what this looks like. And both of you guys have children, and you've been doing it. And Rebekah, we're going to start with you. I want to know about your story, what that looks like. How long have you been single mothering? How many shots a night would you have to take to deal with that? What does the journey look like, essentially?
So my journey really is, I've been a single mom for 4.5 years now. My daughter will be 5 in November, so exciting. I do it with a lot of support. Honestly, I have an amazing support system. And I don't think I would have accomplished a lot that I've accomplished in the last couple of years without that support system. So,
Katelyn, let's talk about you as well. Tell them the journey. How long have you been a single mom? What does this look like for you?
Well, my son, he's only 6 months old, so
6
obviously
months
he's
is
still
a
a baby.
baby.
He's a little baby. I've been doing it by myself since he was like 3 weeks old. So his dad was around at first, but then we ended up breaking up, and I've been working again since he was 2 weeks old.
Wow.
So I worked up to the day of having him, and then I started working again after he was 2 weeks old. So I've been working, pretty much being a working single mom since he was 2 weeks old.
Yeah.
So it has its ups and downs, but I enjoy it. I really do.
You know, you mentioned something, you started back work at 2 weeks.
Yeah.
When did you start back at work?
3 months.
3 months.
Yeah.
I went back to work in a month and I was like, I'm like gangster with it. To hear 2 weeks in the midst of postpartum, in the midst of like challenges with you're no longer in a relationship anymore, that seems chaotic and extremely scary, for one. So that kind of brings me to the situation where I want y'all to back up and talk about when you guys decided to separate from your significant other who you were with, who you had this child with. Because a lot of people don't realize like that in itself, after having a child with this person, you don't see that happening. And I just want to kind of showcase what that journey looked like for you and what you went through. We'll start with you, Becca.
So for me, I was 5 months pregnant, and her dad kind of just like disappeared. So it was like a situation of not really like knowing what was going on, just kind of like, I'm out. And one day just calling him like, what are we doing here? And he was like, well, I just want to take care of my daughter. And so I was like, I'm not, no matter how hard it is, I'm not in the business of forcing people to do things. So
you have such a calm like presence to you because if it was me, I'm going ape, you know what, on him, period. Nah. We done made it 5 months at this point. Like, we're going through this together. But the fact that you were just very much so like, okay, cool, if that's your decision, it seems like your maturity level was already pretty much there by that time. Am I right with that?
Yeah, I had my daughter when I was 30. So I think by that point in my life, I've dealt with a lot of foolishness. So it was like, by that point, it was like, oh, this is what we're doing. I'm not really, no.
What was yours like? When you made the decision that you're going to separate, what did that look like?
Well, my pregnancy was just all over the place in general with him. But like, he was somewhat there, like with doctor's appointments and stuff. But like, after I had my baby, it seemed like everything was perfect. Like the first 2 weeks, like he was like the perfect dad, like it was a family. And then I went through his phone and caught his ass cheating.
Step one that causes the problem.
And like it was hard when I first found it because I was like just had my baby and like everything seemed like it was finally going right.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'm gonna give him another chance. But then I felt like I was like going in like this like dark hole. Like it was just like so depressing. I didn't want to be in my house and So then I decided, like, you know, like, kind of, like, not cut it off with him, but then I came home one day because I was, like, didn't want to go home because I was just, like, we were irritated fighting. And I went through this one again, and he was going to go cheat on me that day. And it was 2 days after my birthday.
Oh,
so
not like your birthday.
Yes,
The
yes.
levels.
Bro, and he was cheating on me with his other baby mama, let alone that.
To add insult to injury.
Yes. And so, you know, I went kind of crazy, broke his phone with a bat, and threw all this shit outside.
Oh, you went psychotic.
Yeah, you know, normal.
Normal.
And then we broke up, you know, then been doing it on my own since then.
Ever since.
Yeah, I mean, he's came, like, and seen him, like, maybe, like, 4 times, and I've got $200 from him.
Wow.
But I sent him back about half of it, so pretty much been doing it alone. I mean, I have really good support system on my job. Like, my job and my clients are probably, like, the biggest, like, support system I have. My mom is there sometimes, but, like, it's mainly my clients and, like, my job that help out the most.
You really turned it in for both of y'all. Y'all turned into the village. Like, y'all made the village really step up, and you got lucky and blessed, essentially, that they were able to do so for you guys. Am I right with that?
Yeah, for real.
When we talk about parenting and doing this on a solo tip, you know, both of your situations, they weren't the best, like, step-aways from the person that you had the child with.
Yeah.
I could only imagine having to deal with this person for the next 18 years of that child's life. It sounds scary. It sounds overwhelming. And if you could, I guess, mentally go back to the day when you first started doing these drop-offs. I don't know what your guys' schedule looks like now, but, like, the exchange of kids, is it draining to you guys at any point? Does it become like, oh my God, I do not want to do this. I don't want to see you. Can I have somebody in the middle, do the connections? Like, what does that look like?
It's weird because we don't really have drama, but there's been a lot of situations where he wasn't inconsistent or different things like that. So I feel like now he's gotten to the point where he's actually, like, seeing the importance of being in his daughter's life. And for me, it's always been about my daughter. Like, I've learned to take myself out of it completely and be like, it's only about her. So for me.
Did you start like that? Did you start with, like, I'm not going to, you know, because this is what you're saying right now is, like, the very mature and very, I'm established and I've got to this point. This could never be me is what I'm saying.
But yeah, in a lot of ways, because there was no point. Like, for me, I will say there was a part of postpartum depression that I didn't know was happening in the process of me becoming a mother, because it was all new for me. Like, I didn't want to be a mom. That was never, like, a goal of mine. So for me to, like, then be like, oh, you're pregnant. Like, oh, shit, we got to take care of a child now. It's not just going to be you. Like, so for me, my mentality always went to, no matter what happens, I want to be the best representation for my daughter. So I was like, okay, well, I got to get some shit done. So it was like, school, we're getting done. We're getting better jobs. We're doing this because she needs things, and I'm not going to be around waiting for him to do them. I'm going to have to do it.
So it was a light bulb check instantly when that baby got there. Whether he's here or not, you know,
it was
his actions don't affect you.
Yeah, it was before that. I think the abandonment really, like, allowed me to grow quickly, because it was like, okay, well, I'm not aborting it. It's not an option for me. So it's like the baby's already, like, 5 months in utero. So it's time for me to, like, what we're going to do next. Like, it sucked, but it was like, there was a lot of tears, but it's like, you got to push through that shit.
You know how crazy that sounds, though? Like, yo, you're saying that at that 5-month mark, having him not around all the way up to basically the baby being born was your way of healing and getting out of that relationship, essentially. Like, saying, okay, I'm going to get used to being boss, bitch, in charge now. In the midst of that, which is, having somebody with you the whole way through. I don't know which one's worse, having them all the way with you or getting rid of it, like, getting out of that relationship while you're pregnant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was going pretty crazy when I was pregnant. Because,
Yeah,
like, we would fight and shit, and I would just leave, but I would always come back because I'm like, I'm on my family. I want to at least try on the family. I don't want to, like, give up on my family. Yeah. So I did go back a lot, but then I always left.
Right. And how does it look now with you with, like, drop-offs, sharing the child? Like, when you have these moments where you have to link up and possibly see each other, is it like, hey, how are you? You want to go to a soccer game in a week or something? Or is it very much so like, here's your kid, I'm out of here?
I mean, it doesn't really nobody ever has him. I have him 24/7. I take him to
24/7.
work with me every day. He comes home with me every day.
Yeah.
Like my mom house maybe like 3 times out of the month maybe. But when she can,
Yeah.
But even like when he's messaged me and be like, oh, hey, I want to see my son, and I'll be like, okay, like let me know when and where. His excuse of not being in my son's life is that if we're not together, he doesn't want to have another baby mama. So let it be known, this is his 5th kid. I'm the 4th baby mama. So he's been through this. His oldest kid is 18.
Right.
So,
he's gone through the journey.
Yeah, so he's already known it all. So when he told me that ultimatum, I was like, well, you've had a baby mama give you that ultimatum and you didn't like it, so I don't know why you would want me to give me the ultimatum when I'm just trying to be cool. I'm like, let's co-parent. Like, we don't have to be together. Like, just be there for your son. I don't want to take him from you. But it got to the point now where it's like, I'm so tired of him not being consistent and saying he's going to come and not coming and then, not helping out with anything. And it's not like I ask him for help because I'm lucky enough to make enough money and have my support system I have where I don't need to ask for help. But I kind of just gave up on it. It really was yesterday, to be honest, because I've been waiting on him since Sunday to come get his son. And I told him, like, just go to the court. Like, if you want to see your son, just, like, if that's what you want to do, like, we'll just do it that way. And you could just go to the court and see your son that way. Because it's just tiring on my end because I already have to deal with him every day and have him every day in and out, work, shopping,
it's exhausting.
like,
I look forward to dropping my kid off and his dad having a couple hours when we're home. I look forward to it daily because I'm drained every day. So hearing a 24/7 situation is wild. Is your situation still inconsistent or has it gotten better over the years now?
It's gotten a little better. So we're on that every other weekend. But, I mean, that's still a long period sometimes, too. So there was, like, a couple weekends ago where my daughter was tripping. I was like, what is wrong with you? And she, like, would scream for, like, 20 minutes. And I was like, Mom. My mom literally lives 5 minutes away from me.
Blessed.
So I know. I was like, thank God. I love her over there. And I was like, Mom, your granddaughter wants to spend time with you because I can't.
Clearly, right now she's saying she wants to go to your house today, right?
So that's really how I treat it because I'm like, there are moments like where it's like, this is not an easy task to take on. It's like you're raising a child by yourself and they are literally growing and have multiple personalities throughout the day. And it's like, and then you're dealing with your own shit. So it's like, no.
That inconsistency is a scary thing too, because setting up plays for the betterment of the relationship of your child and their fathers is what ultimately the goal is. But when it becomes inconsistent, at what point do you feel like, I got to shut this down? And if that's the case, has that been something that you guys have kind of committed to, or do you feel like that could change for you in a couple of years? Like, until you show me something, then we're going to shut this down. You ain't seeing your kid. Have you gone through those struggles yet?
I have. Like, I went through them multiple times already. So one of the things was he did get a DUI, which I'm probably sharing a lot. But
I'll bleep it out, don't worry.
But it was a situation where he had to go to, like, jail for a little bit of time. And I'm like, to me it was like he showed up one day and was like, oh, I'm going to jail next week. Oh. Excuse me. Like, what is happening?
God.
But, like, in talking to his mom and stuff like that, she was like, he has to go to get himself together so that he can become a better parent. And at that time, I wasn't seeing it. I was seeing the frustration behind it.
Right.
But then it's like now I think because of that, it's allowed him to be a better parent. And I see it now. Like, I can see the growth and I see the things that have happened. And it was like, that's why I said I had to take myself out of it and out of my emotions out of it because,
you're so mature. Because it could never be me. Never.
What made you want to give him another chance after that?
It's like I said, it's my daughter. It's not
for the kid.
I grew up without a father, so for me, I know the importance of that relationship. And if I can be the person that's not combative, because a lot of women, I mean, we do make it about us.
Yeah.
And we are very much like, you're not going to see the kid because you can't do X, Y, and Z. But I'm like, I don't want to be that person. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, because at the end of the day, if my daughter grows up in that same situation, it's always going to be like these different things. So I'd rather her know all of it, like the good, the bad, whatever. Mm-hmm. Like if your dad's not going to show up, you knowing what's going on, like he maybe couldn't be there at this point in time. But then when he does, you're cherishing those moments because I didn't have that. And that's why I'm so adamant about, and I'll tell him, like, I need you to be present. And this is why I need you to be present. But I have to also be able to communicate those things with him. And there, you also have to deal with somebody who's also receptive of those things. So that's the biggest thing between us, is that we do have open communication even though we're not together. So.
Preach, God. How do you feel about it? Do you feel like you'd be open to co-parenting and you know, if he wants to, I don't know, a couple months from now be like, oh, you know, I want to get my kid and start being on a schedule with you? Do you think you'd be open to it, or are you more so on the side of like, yo, I've given you the opportunities, you're not making it happen, so let's change the play?
I don't know, because like my perspective of everything is like I have so many friends that are single moms. I have guy friends that are single dads. Like I've seen all the scenarios. So even with him, like I seen how his other baby mamas are.
Yeah.
And he has ones that are like bitter that want him and won't let him see his kids unless they're with him. I have seen one that like was cool with him but always wanted him.
Yeah.
Let him see the kids. I've seen one that now he has no rights to one of his kids.
Wow.
So I've seen it all the scenarios. So I'm like I just want you to be a son to my dad, a son to my a father to my son. But at the same time, like, it's not fair for me, because I didn't think I was going through postpartum. I remember like talking to the doctor and I was like, maybe I'm just like depressed or something, like, but like now thinking back at it, I'm like, maybe that is kind of what I'm going through.
It clicks, right? Hearing other people's stories sometimes, like I know for me doing this, like I was like, oh, I for sure had it.
Yeah.
There's so many stories I've heard throughout the season with people. I'm like, yo, I was sitting here really bugging. Like that's postpartum.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's just something that doesn't click to you because you got so much you're dealing with.
Yeah.
In the midst of it, that's like, I ain't got time to, let me go check myself out for this. You're going through your emotions and trying to just stay ahead, you know?
And like in my head, like I thought postpartum was like, you have a disconnection with your child.
Right.
And so I didn't have no disconnection with him, because
Yeah.
like I would love him and like I'd smile and be happy with him, but I couldn't like comprehend until he was like 4 months old that like this is my baby.
Yeah.
Like it was weird that I couldn't comprehend that. And now, I do, and like I love being a mom. The best part about being a single mom is that he's a great baby.
Yeah, you got
That's
very
the only-
lucky. 'Cause
that's
Mom
the
was
only
showing
way I
her
could
baby,
do it.
y'all, is here in the back. Y'all can't see her baby right now, but the baby is bomb, because mine would have been running around, would have ruined this whole show. Like it would have been a mess. But you got very blessed.
I got lucky with that. So like, I don't know, I guess like I wouldn't like say I would never give him another chance, because of course I would.
Yeah.
But I just think at this point in my life right now, like I'm like, I'm moving on the 6th of this month to my new apartment. This is the 4th move I've done since my son's been born.
And
So
your son's only 6
months. So it's been a lot, and then on top of that, working all the time. So it's like sometimes I like look forward to going to work because I get help at work. So like sometimes I go to work and they're like, baby, and I'm like, take him.
That's a blessing, yeah.
And like my coworkers help me a lot too, but as well, like my son had already got COVID. When he was like probably 4 months old, he got COVID.
Yeah.
But it's like a flu, like kind of like just like a normal cold for babies. But I don't know where he could have got it from, because I take him everywhere with me, you know.
Right.
So it's hard, because like sometimes at work people be like, oh, I'll hold him. I'm like, no, it's okay,
Not
because
today.
I can't let him be spoiled, because then it'll be too hard on me when I need to let him just be next to me while I'm working.
Yeah.
So it's not like I could always cater to him at every moment. So I have to find things that kind of distract him while he's just chilling there.
Right.
So he's not like yelling his head off.
Like I said, I gotta give it to you both, because relationships, you go through things, but there was a part even in my time while I was pregnant and even after where I was like, yo, I'm gonna have to dip. I might have to move around. I might have to be this single mom and not scared the shit out of me. I'm gonna be quite honest. So to see two people who are just very much so, we made the decision and we committed, is really motivating. And this will motivate a lot of women to know that, hey, it can be as simple as like a light bulb, just to go ahead and do so. And as we're talking through this journey, I appreciate both of y'all for like being so open about what that looks like for you, especially with the co-parenting, the postpartum stuff of that. But moving into a lighter note of it, of now you're single again, essentially. Back on the prowl type. You know what I'm saying? You're now officially a single woman. You are allowed to date. You are allowed to, do your thing. That has to be a transition in itself for both of you. How does that feel to be able to know that, like, okay, you can go out on dates. Okay, like, now I'm going to start this whole situation. Have y'all ran into people who don't have kids where this is, like, weird for them that you have a kid and they don't? Like, what does that look like as single mom life, dating?
It depends on the person. I mean, I've dated guys that have kids, and I feel like they're the most drama. Like,
I agree.
I've dated ones that don't have kids, and because I have a kid, that's been an issue.
Yeah.
And then some of them, it's just like it didn't go anywhere, but there wasn't an issue that I was a mother. So it's all over the place, honestly. It's one of those, right now, though, I'm really single.
Really?
And I'm like, I like it that way.
Like single.
Yeah, like.
Is it like a peace of mind to go into your place, you close the door and not have to deal with nobody else's stuff but your own?
Yes. It is.
I bet. How do you feel about it, Katelyn? Are you into the single mindset? Are you like, I'm outside, sign me up?
I kind of do my own thing, but
You got friends.
it's crazy because I was like, everyone's like, oh, I have kids, no one's gonna want me, and so I was like thinking the same thing.
Same.
But I was like, it's weird. I feel like people want me more now that I got a kid. I'm not gonna lie. But it's like I don't even want y'all, But
Right.
I don't know. Like I guess it's just weird because I don't know, I'm not like interested in like talking to nobody right now.
Right.
I mean, I have somebody I talk to right now, but he's like, he treats my son more like a son than my son's father does. Like he'll send me money for diapers. He'll FaceTime me and like talk to the baby while he's on FaceTime, and so that's part's kind of cute seeing that. But then I feel bad when he's like, how's my boy, and it's not his. Yeah. Because I feel like I'm taking him away from his dad, but like I don't want to feel like that with him,
Right.
Because like when I made the choice to like actually leave, I think it was more because like I was like, I don't want to show my son fake love. Like I don't want to show him fake happiness. And I always didn't know why people stay in relationships when they're not good in a couple, but they stay for the family, Because that's what I wanted. I was like, I'm gonna stay for the family. But when I was in it, I was like, what? That's not showing your kid a real family. You're showing him a fake family, You're showing him fake happiness or fake love because that's what you're getting. So that was like the thing that made me want to leave. So now that I'm like gone and by myself with him, I get lonely, of course,
Yeah.
But I'm like, there's vibrators for that, so you're fine. You're good.
You figure it out.
You figure it out.
Figure it out on the way there.
And then there's guys come and go.
Yeah. And so do any of you like get nervous with the whole, like you kind of just mentioned that as far as in your baby with another man, introducing, like have you gone through that journey of introducing your child to somebody else? And what does that look like? Or how do you really reserve that right for later?
I reserve it a lot. Like we have to be almost like exclusive before that kind of happens. So I'm very much like, because I don't want my daughter just being like, oh, I know this person, I know this person, I know this person. I don't want that for her. And the one time that I did, like she got close with the person's son. And now I'm like, we're no longer like.
I'd be heartbroken.
And I'm like, and that's how I feel. Because I'm like, I also developed a relationship with the other child as well. But I'm still like, it's not healthy.
I'm very much so the trust nobody, trust no one kind of girl. Like my circle is my circle and I don't play that with nobody else. So for me to let you into my circle, and especially like my baby, my son, who's pretty much at this point all I'm going to have and have had, I think I would probably be so broken even from going through that journey. It's like, how do you even get yourself back up from that? Because like this is your kid that you're introducing this person to, and they now have that connection with, Did your child have a connection with the person that you had introduced? Were they cool? Like, do they still ask?
She still asks, but I'm very open and honest because I feel like you have to let kids know, like, life happens. And, like, I'll tell her, like, baby, I understand, but they're not going to be around anymore or different things like that, just to kind of, like, reiterate it to her, like, it's me and you. It's me and you against the world. Like, or whatever the case may be, just to let her know, like, no matter what, it's me and her. And, like, it happened. That was a situation, but sometimes people come and go, and it's for a good reason. So,
Was it painful for you?
It was.
Yeah.
I've literally been through, like, a lot of therapy over the last year.
Yeah.
A lot of, like, healing, a lot of different things just to, like, really get back to, like, feeling like myself. Because I felt like also, too, what happened with me having a child is that I did a lot of things very quickly. Like, I was like, I'm going back to school to get my degree. I'm doing all of these things.
Right.
But in the process, I don't think that I took that time to really, like, fully heal myself. And on top of that, I was dealing with everything else prior to even having a child.
Yeah.
So it's like you're bringing all of that into, like, already being a mom. And you're like, I haven't truly, like, dealt with other issues.
Right.
And now I'm like, okay, now I got to deal with motherhood. Like, how is that going to all work out?
Yeah.
So for me, it was really like, you have to, like, be intentional about healing all aspects of your life and stop carrying it with you. Because at the end of the day, I feel like my daughter needs that from me. And I don't want her to be like, my daughter saw me cry once. And that
Just once.
That was it. That broke my heart because she was like sad. And I
Yeah.
was like, I don't want her to be sad because I'm sad. Like, no.
Yeah.
So,
My son saw me cry, and like when he came up and like wiped my tears, I swear I like started crying even harder.
Yeah.
I was like, not the 3-year-old wiping my freaking face. Like, this is too much for me, you know?
Exactly.
But those moments really matter for sure. Like, get choked up thinking about it. When you think about as far as in being a mom and like someone who might have to go through this same journey that you're talking about right now, what would be the best advice that you could give them? And really take a second and think about that. Like, y'all know what this looks like. You know how crazy we could get.
Yeah.
You know we could end up in jail in a minute trying games with certain people. What would you want to tell them would be the best advice to give?
I don't know, just stay strong, to be honest. And, like, get the happiness that you want to get from other people to your child. Because, like, it's really pure, genuine happiness. Like, there's just, like, the most precious human little beings, and, like, they're your little human, you know? So, like, even when I have, like, hard times and, like, I want to cry, too, because I try not to cry in front of him, too, and, like,
Y'all strong. I
That shit's
cry
hard.
all the time around mine.
I only cried in front of him twice, and, like, the one time I cried, he, like, looked at me and he stopped crying. And I was like, oh, wow.
That's great. I love
And so,
it.
I don't know, like, try to find that through them, and, like, ask for help. Don't feel bad to ask for help. Like, a lot of people don't like to ask for help, and I don't like to ask for
Neither
help.
do I.
But I'm learning it now, like, it's okay to ask for help, like, when you need help.
good.
Because it's hard to be a single mom on your own and not ask for help.
That's a good one. What you think, Becca?
I say be gentle with yourself. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to have hard times. And it doesn't matter if you're doing it with somebody or without somebody. It's really going to be a challenge in motherhood. So I say give yourself grace. Like, be okay with failing. It only makes you better. Like,
I love it.
I don't know.
That's hard for me.
It's
'Cause I'm like,
hard.
I want to be like this perfect parent. I want to do this. But I try to deal with that too. Like, okay, there's no perfect way to parent. You know?
It really isn't. And now I think that's the one thing that I've learned throughout this whole journey and this whole time that I've been here is there's no perfect way to be a mom. There's no perfect way to go through the journey. There's just, you got to take it day by day, you know? You guys are literally the truth of what single parenting mothers look like. And if I can't be the one to tell you guys enough, I'm proud of both of y'all for what you're doing because I don't know if I have the strength. So thank you both for doing this with me today. Your girl Cedes, season 1, that's a wrap.
I appreciate you for taking the time to listen to this episode of the Black Millennial Mom podcast. And you know, the conversation doesn't have to end here. Reach out on any of your favorite social media platforms by searching for @YourGirlCedes. You can find the Black Millennial Mom podcast on all streaming platforms, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Spotify. And be sure to let us know what you think by leaving us a comment below.